Hello class. So welcome back. In today's lesson, we are going to go through global tourism key question number 2, second topic. Alright, on why has tourism become a global phenomenon. So the agenda for today is that by the end of the lesson, we want to be able to explain the growth of global tourism. Consider this. What will encourage you to travel to a particular place? Is it the destination itself? Or is it due to some other factors such as you have information about the place? Okay, so there are three key areas. First is the development in technologies, which is related to the better and affordable transport such as aeroplane flights, as well as the ease of access of information to the internet. And number two, we have the demand factors such as the disposable income, the leisure time the people have, as well as the changing lifestyle. So all these three factors are related to the tourist profile. And finally, we have the destination factors. So under destination factors, we have attractions itself, the investment in infrastructure and services, as well as the access to information. So development in technologies. Okay, technology refers to the application of scientific knowledge to develop machines, equipments, and ways of doing things. So these developments have brought about better and affordable transport, such as aeroplane flights, as well as the ease of access to information due to the internet. So basically, it means that it is now easier to gain information about a tourist destination. So the developments has brought about better and affordable transport. For example, if we take a look at this news, alright, we now have budget flights flying from Singapore to Indonesia. And this actually promotes air travel between the two destinations, which makes people want to travel to between the two destinations itself. So the better and affordable transport is related to the rise of budget airlines. Okay, airlines with low fares. So when we say budget airlines, we are referring to the low cost of flying, the low fares. Alright, so some example would be Jetstar Asia as well as Tiger Airways. Now, because of this technology, it is cheaper than major commercial airlines to fly. Alright, and so what are the technology we are talking about? They are the smaller and more fuel efficient aircraft. So these aircrafts typically fly to short haul destination, meaning that they take a very short travel time, which is typically under 3 hours, as well as nearby destinations. Alright, so because of this short haul destination, the cost is reduced. And also, secondly, the cost is further reduced by the selling of tickets online. So what this means for the travelers? Okay, it means that we now have safer traveling. Okay, we have shorter traveling time as well as we have the lower traveling costs. Alright, so the effect of this is that people can now travel internationally. Alright, so it's not only within their own country itself, but travel across borders and at a higher frequency. Alright, so they can travel internationally more often. So they can go to destinations not covered by major commercial airlines, for example, places like Bhutan as well as northern Thailand. Alright, and overall this has the effect in increasing the number of international travelers. Alright, now just to further touch on this point over here. So usually major commercial airlines, they would have larger planes and they would only be able to land in international airports in major cities. Alright, but because of the availability of budget airlines, which are typically cheaper and smaller in size, they can fly to less major cities, alright, smaller cities. They can fly to places whereby the airport facilities are actually smaller, alright, and not as well developed. So this allows people to travel to new destinations which are not as popular as before. So factor number 2. Okay, factor number 2 is the development in technologies and how it has brought about the ease of access to information. So example would be some websites like this. This one is a travel blog. So it actually provides information on where to travel and how to travel safely in that area. And then we have other kind of website which provides services that allows you to book your destination, okay, plan your itinerary through the website. All right. So overall, due to the developments in technology, you can now use the internet to plan your travel, to find out where to travel to, which makes it easier, all right, easier to access the necessary information to travel. So this has helped make information more readily available, accessible, and updated. All right, basically everything is at the tip of your finger. Okay, it also helped to promote air travel and global tourism. Okay, because now it is easy to gain information. It is easier for people to plan the travel destination, to plan their traveling itinerary, where they want to go to, what they want to do, and how do they want to get to the area. All right. So some examples of the technology improvement, number one would be the online booking and research. So the benefits this give to the tourists is that the tourists can have more options and control over where they want to go and what they want to do. Okay, they can buy their own tickets without going through travel agents. This actually helps them to save costs. All right. So because they no longer need to pay the travel agent, they actually get to save some money and they can travel to further destination or even travel more often. So they can also view feedback and recommendations from other travelers. So this help them to feel more at ease, okay? Help them to feel more willing, more comfortable to travel. All right. And lastly, they can do research to find out more about their destination. Okay. Now, other developments in technology would include the installation of surveillance and electronic checks. So this would appear at the destination itself, such as your cameras, street cameras, I'm referring to those. So this makes the tourists feel safer and more confident about traveling, because in the event whereby something bad happened to them, such as they are being targeted by criminals or they are being robbed, the travelers actually get to be able to report to police, and more likely because of the presence of surveillance camera, so their case will be taken up and the police might be able to act on it to catch the perpetrators. All right, so the tourists would feel safe and confident about traveling. Now the next factor that we are talking about would be the demand factors. So these are related to the tourist profiles, basically who are the tourists themselves. All right. So the demand factors would affect the tourists' demand for goods and services, basically what they want to do when they travel. All right. And it also affects their ability to travel. So this ability to travel is referring to whether or not they are able to travel itself. Do they have enough money? Do they have enough time? The two key factors on whether or not they are able to travel. So these factors include, number one, their disposable income, number two, the leisure time they have, number three, their lifestyle. So under disposable income, what is the meaning of disposable? All right, basically it means the amount of income left to an individual after taxes have been paid. So this is the amount of money a person would have for them to engage in their hobbies, to do what they want. All right. So due to the what happened, what changed, all right, due to the rapid economic growth in countries such as China, India, and even Singapore itself, if you were to compare the 1950s to the 1990s to the year 2000, all right, there is rapid economic growth in which everyone is starting to earn more and more money. So after paying their taxes, they would actually have more disposable income. They have more income left to engage in the activities that they would love to do so. All right. So this growth in income helps people to seek to improve their quality of life. So they do so by traveling. Basically, they are traveling for recreational purposes. They are traveling for distressing. They are traveling as part of their hobby to see and learn more about the world. All right. So factor number 2 is the leisure time a person have. So what is leisure time? It refers to the part of a day, week, or year where people have no work commitments. All right. So for example, would be your school holidays, when you do not need to come to school, you do not need to do homework. Okay, you do not need to attend CCA and all that. So those time is left for you to plan on your own, to see what you want to do. And mostly the activities which you engage in your leisure time are your activities for relaxation, okay, such as playing of sports, or in the case of adults, all right, it would actually be the traveling to different parts of the world. So what has changed? All right, so since the 1950s, people have enjoyed shorter working weeks. So in the past, for example, my time, it was a 6-day work week. But however, now government service is 5-day work week, and you do not have to go to school on Saturdays. All right, so we have shorter working weeks. Okay, we have more public holidays. There are a total of 9 public holidays in Singapore in a year. Okay, and then we also have more paid annual leaves. All right. Let me correct that. I think there are more than 9 public holidays actually. Okay, so there are 8 public holidays for each of the for the religion festival. Then there are some like Labour's Day, okay, the New Year days and all that. So there are more than 9 public holidays. All right. Then at the same time, for some companies itself, they actually are giving paid annual leave. So a person would be able to take leave while still being paid. All right, and this actually encourage them to take their leave and go on whatever leisure activity they would like on their off days. All right, so the effect of all of this is that there are now more leisure time for an individual. So the individual would be more willing and able to travel. All right, so because they do not need to go work, they can actually plan their itinerary. They can travel to many different countries and for a longer period of time, or even to further destination. All right, so this effect of leisure time is very important on the ability to travel. And then finally, we have the changing lifestyles. So for the working adults itself, okay, what is the changing lifestyle referring to? So this is the change in the way people live throughout their lifetime and from generation to generation. All right. So if we talk about the way people live throughout their lifetime, okay, for example, when you are young, your lifetime would be going to school, studying and all that. And then when you grow up to 18 years old, for the boys, you would need to go for national service. And then after that, you most likely go for your tertiary education in a university. And after that, then you would finally be able to go out to work. So these are all the different changing activities that you do throughout your life as you grow from young to older, to finally maybe you are in your 60s and your 80s when you retire. All right, and there is also a change in the lifestyle from generation to generation. Okay, so for people of the older generation, they tend to work more. Okay, so they would most likely work from 20 to all the way to 80s and all that, because they may not have enough income, so they need to work all the way until they are old. All right, but for our generation, okay, we tend to earn more when we are younger age, okay, when we are at the working adult age. So because of this, all right, we are actually able to retire earlier. And when we retire earlier, we can use the free time that we have to go for leisure activities, to go for traveling, okay, to go tour to different places and to enjoy ourselves, right? So this is what we mean by the changing lifestyle, right? So one of the key change that we see nowadays also, besides what I have described earlier, is the faster pace of life today. Okay, and then we work overtime at the workplace. All right, so this gives us a lot of stress and would make us want to take travel, to take a break and to relax as well. All right, so for the working adults would like to travel because it helps them to relax and take a break. Okay, however, for the other group, the retirees group, all right, so this group would actually be a different factor. So number one, they would like to travel because they are retired. Okay, they do not have any work commitments in their older age. All right, so they are actually able to make use of this free time to travel for leisure purposes. Okay, So the number two change that they see is actually the advancement in medical technology and knowledge. So what happened is this, okay, due to the advancement in technology and medical knowledge, people live longer and they are more physically fit. Okay, so when you live long and you're physically fit, you also have more leisure time. And because you have more leisure time, all right, you are actually able to spend the time traveling. Okay, and then at the same time, because you are now physically fit, okay, you are healthy, you are also more health conscious, you are healthier, you have healthier lifestyle, so you would like to travel more as well to spend your time to spend your healthy years productively. All right, so you might want to travel to do recreational activities that only a healthy person is able to do, such as mountain climbing, okay, going to the beach, engaging in the sea sports and things like that. All right, so you have to understand that not every country has beaches, and sometimes people would travel because they want to visit the beaches, okay, to spend their time beside the sea. Right, so under the retirees, there are two different factors just to sum up. Number one is that once they are retired, okay, they have more leisure time to travel. Okay, number two is also because of the changing lifestyle, they are now fitter. All right, they are healthier, they live longer, so they would be able to travel to places which requires them to have to be healthy in order to travel to those places. All right, such as, like I mentioned before, the climbing of mountain, okay, spending time beside the sea, engaging in sea sports. Now the last key factor we talk about is the destination factors itself. So these destination factors, we have the infrastructures and services in tourist destination. Okay, so two different things, infrastructure and services, that allow for more convenient and comfortable stays for the tourists. So these two factors, the infrastructure and the services, makes the stay more convenient and more comfortable. All right, so this would also attract and entice, okay, the tourists to the people to want to travel, okay, to enjoy the different places that they go to. All right, so these destination factors include the attractions itself. Okay, number two would be the investment in infrastructure and services. And finally, number three would be the access to information. Okay, remember there's a access to information previously, right? But however, that factor is actually related to the ease of access to information, meaning how easy is it to get the information. All right, under the destination factor itself, we are referring to the content of the information. So what knowledge do I have about the place which makes me want to visit the place? Okay, so the first sub-factor, attractions. All right, so under this attraction, there are features or qualities that make a place interesting or enjoyable. All right, so we do not want to travel to another country just to see more of the same. Okay, we do not want to travel to other country just to see Singapore again, okay, or features that are similar to Singapore. So because of that, okay, in a travel destination, there are key features, all right, or key qualities that make the place nice. So they can be natural attractions, or they can also be built attractions. Okay, so natural attractions would naturally be related to your scenic beauty. Okay, some places which has very, very nice views, all right, and your built attractions could be related to other form of tourism, such as the medical tourism, okay, traveling for medical purposes, okay, educational facilities, all right. So oftentimes, in fact, many Southeast Asian nationals, okay, from like Vietnam, Myanmar, Indonesia, and all, they like to travel to Singapore for the education facilities that we have over here. So they view the Singapore system, the GCE O level, all right, as very important, okay, high quality, good quality attractions. So they would like to visit Singapore to study here. Okay, and then in some places there are also theme parks attraction. So in Singapore itself, we have Universal Studio Singapore at your Resort World Sentosa. All right, in other countries, you have Disneyland. So you have Disneyland Tokyo, you have Disneyland US, you have Disneyland Hong Kong, and so on. Okay, so there are many different types of theme parks which actually makes it enticing for a person to visit the place. Okay, so the next key point under the destination factors would be the investment in infrastructure and services. All right, so infrastructure refers to transport and communication networks, okay, electrical frameworks, and the system of water and waste disposal. Okay, so what are some infrastructure we talk about? They are the airports, roads, and railways. All right, as well as the accommodation. Okay, accommodation refers to the place where a person stay. All right, so the number of places that they can stay, the number of hotels, the number of resorts, okay, the number of homestay facilities, as well as the variety depending on the person budget. All right, so in the past, because traveling is an activity only the people with large amount of disposable income can do, right? So in the past, traveling is expensive, and because traveling is expensive, only a small number of people is able to travel. But nowadays, okay, because of the drop in cost to travel, okay, for example, the accommodations, instead of staying in a hotel, you can opt for a resort. So resorts are cheaper, all right, or you can even opt for homestays. Okay, you are staying in someone's house, okay, such as Airbnb and so on. So this variety of accommodation, there are actually more varieties at different price point. So we have the hotels, we have the resort, okay, we have the Airbnb. So now each of these accommodation are at different price point, which cater to different tourist profile. So the rich can travel, they can stay in the hotel. Okay, the middle income people can also travel, they can also stay in the resorts. And those with lower income, lesser disposable income, they can travel too, because they can always opt for the cheaper accommodation. All right, so all this actually leads to the growth in global growth in tourism, because basically more amount of people are able to travel now. All right, so we talk about things like transport and communication. So how do we get to the destination? Okay, we now have better, safer air flights. Okay, the airport are of better quality. Okay, there are more roads to new areas, roads to different areas. Okay, roads that are larger and wider, which allows more tourists to travel at the same time. Okay, they have railways to different destinations, and so on. All right, so there are electrical frameworks, okay, and system for water and waste disposal. All right, so we can now build hotels in different areas. You can build hotels in more areas because electricity is now available in more area. All right, the tourists are able to get water, clean water at the hotels. Okay, they are able to visit this destination because whatever waste they produce, the area is actually able to get rid of it. Okay, so all this development in infrastructure is very important in actually promoting new tourist destinations, okay, better tourist destination, which makes people want to travel to those areas. All right, then under services, okay, we have under the investment in services. So this refers to the type of help or work that is provided by a business to the customer. Okay, so now when you are traveling, you actually have better services. So there are places with food. Okay, there are more entertainment at the destination. Okay, there are telecommunication links. You can actually still make phone calls and so on to your home, to your family members back home. All right. Okay, and there are trained personnels. Okay, trained personnels refer to people who are specially trained to be part of the tourist industry, of the tourism industry, right? So you have trained personnels. So these trained personnels actually help the different tourists to settle their problems. Okay, they can include people such as your valet. So your valet would help you to settle down in the hotel itself. Okay, would help you with your luggage, would help you with parking of your car if you are renting a car at the destination. All right. You have trained personnel in the hotel lobbies. Okay, you have tour guides. You have people who would be able to provide you information to the different places that you need to go. Okay, you have your porter to help you carry your barang, okay, carry your luggages and things like that. So all these groups of people actually form the part of the tourism industry. Example over here. Okay, so the cruise tourism in Singapore, more infrastructure needed to meet the demand, say the expert. All right. So demand here refers to the number of tourists who want to visit Singapore. Okay. So there need to be an investment in infrastructure and services. Then the destination would be able to cater to all the needs of the potential tourists. All right. So you just imagine if there is no investment in infrastructure and services, when the tourists arrive in the place, okay, for example, all these tourists in the cruise ship, they arrive to Singapore. Okay, what do they do in the place itself? All right, they might not have a place to stay. They might not have any entertainment facilities. They might not have any food. Not saying not have any food, but do not have nice tasting food. Okay, do not have a variety of food for them to try. All right, and so because of all these things, they might not want to visit the place itself. Okay, so naturally, when a person is traveling, they will be looking for the infrastructure and services. Does it meet their needs or not? And if it meets their needs, more likely they would be more enticed to travel. And finally, okay, we have the access to information. So this assures tourists that they can seek help. All right, when they get into trouble, they can find help. So it provides them with a sense of security and comfort. All right, so if a tourist is lost, okay, they would be able to check Google, for example. Okay, they can find Google Maps to make their way out of the place. All right, if they are going to climb a mountain or if they are going to visit a forest, they can find safety information. Okay, what are some threats in the forest? For example, is there bears in the forest? All right, or they can find the different paths that they can travel, they can hike on, while those that which paths are dangerous and so on. So all this provides them with security and comfort. Okay, so tourists are more likely to visit a destination when travel-related information is available. Okay, so key informations would be the transport routes and schedules, the weather condition, as well as the availability of accommodation. All right. So in Singapore, we do not have much issue with all these things, but in other country, it's quite important when moving around the area to check the weather condition, to check the bus timings, okay, to check the places, is there any shelter nearby, and so on. All right. So just to give an example, when I was traveling on my trip to Japan, okay, halfway it actually snowed very heavily, and my travel route was cancelled. Okay, I was supposed to cross a mountain, but because there's a blizzard on the mountain itself, all right, they actually closed down the transport route, so vehicles cannot pass on that day itself. And then because of that, I was stuck on the mountain. So what to do? Naturally, I take out my handphone and I start searching online to find information. Okay, where can I stay for the night? What are the available transport? What are the bus available, the train available to go to the new accommodation and things like that. So without the access to all this information, it actually makes travel rather inconvenient, and it might make some people unwilling to travel. All right. So the access to information can be addressed by the local guides and travel agents present. So the guides and the agents may actually provide you with the information itself. So remember the previous factor we talked about trained personnel, right? So the local guides and the travel agents are actually part of the trained personnel to provide information. So it's also easy to obtain both outside and within the destination. Okay, what do I mean by this? You can actually obtain information from the local guides and the travel agent before you travel itself, during the planning of the travel. Okay, so you can always WhatsApp them or you can send them an email and so on to gain information. And then within the destination, let's say you arrive at the place and you decided to change your itinerary, you can also speak to all these guides to help you, to provide you with the information to help you with the new itinerary itself. All right. And nowadays, because of the smartphone, we actually help to eliminate language barriers. So you can travel to Thailand, you can use the smartphone app to translate, or you can also find information in English online. So you can travel to all the different areas without even needing to know and learn the language of the destination country itself. Okay, so for example, you can see over here, this is the word in Thai. It basically means tourist assistant. All right, you have officers over here. This is the word in Thai. It means officer. Okay, so because of all this new access to information, you actually have posters and things like that in English. So tourists who do not speak the language, okay, for example, they do not speak Thai, they are still enticed to visit the area because language is no longer a barrier to them. All right. Okay, so this is the end of the chapter. Sorry for this particular topic. So whatever that I've just gone through, remember we are talking about the reasons for the growth in tourism. Okay, so there are the 3Ds over here, the developments in technology, the demand factors, all right, which we are related to the tourist profile, and finally the destination factors. Okay, so you need to remember that when you are trying to explain the reasons for the growth of tourism, okay, we have to see how each of these factors actually lead to more number of people wanting to travel. Okay, so we talk about why do they now want to travel. Okay, we talk about how are they able to travel. So more people traveling to more destination. All right, so the growth of tourism, more people traveling to more destination. So for example, okay, the better and affordable transport, okay, would actually make it cheap, okay, make it affordable for people to travel, for more people to travel. All right, the ease of access to information will allow more potential tourists to gain information about the destination they want to go to, so they can plan their travel to visit the places. Okay, so for this area, remember all the 3 different factors, key factors, as well as their sub-points over here. All right. So now that you have learned about the factors leading to a growth of tourism, consider this. Okay, which factor is the most important in encouraging people to travel? So you can debate among yourselves, and then you can post it down in the comments section. Okay, so which factor is the most important in encouraging people to travel? And then lastly is, what is the criteria that you are basing your evaluation on? Okay, so for example, if I were to say disposable income is the most important factor for a person to travel rather than the attractions in the area. All right, so disposable income, I think, is more important than the attractions. Okay, so why do I say that disposable income is more important? So think about this and post your answers in the comment section below. Okay, so as well as if you have any questions, you can always post it in the comment below. I'll take a look at it and help to address your questions. All right, so we have come to the end of this topic. Thank you for your time, and I will see you next time.